In this video, I just wanted to share a quick tip if you are having some difficulty feeding line through your Sabiki rod, through the tube and out through the end when you're getting it set up. The biggest issue I find is that when you're feeding your line through the Sabiki rod, it goes through that tiny little hole right there, and as you're feeding it through, it'll start to either bunch up or it'll get stuck on a lip that's on the inside of there. So I wanted to share this tip to help you feed your line through this rod. Now these are great rods if you are using Sabikis to catch bait, because what happens is when you reel the Sabiki up, all the hooks go into the actual tube that the rod's made out of, so you don't have hooks dangling everywhere, especially when you go to store it. Now to get this done effectively, you're going to need two things. You're going to need a very tiny nail that's going to act as a weight to get that line through the tube. And you're also going to need some light braid. I have 10-pound braid here. If you're using braided line on your reel, you may be able to get away with it, but if the line is too thick, you're going to have to attach a section of lighter braid to actually feed that line through the tube by using that nail. And if you're using mono on your reel, I highly recommend attaching the braid to that mono. Make sure it's enough braid that it clears the entire length of the rod. So I use about 10 feet, just that way the nail can go through the rod and all that braid goes through the rod, and then you can pull your mono through the rod that way. And when I'm connecting the light braid to the mono, I'm just using a simple uni to uni knot. Nothing fancy, doesn't have to be super strong. Again, it's just to hold that mono so you can pull it through once that braid and that nail passes through the tube. So now we're going to go ahead and feed the line through the tube. Again, I just have that nail secured to the light braid. I just use a couple overhand knots to secure the nail on there. Make sure you go through that guide that's on the Sabiki rod. Then you're going to insert that nail into that hole there. And then you're just going to start feeding your line through. You can shake it a little bit, make sure it clears, and it is going all the way through. You may have heard it there. Now at the rod tip, you can see we have our line through. And now we're just going to start pulling until our main line comes through. As you can see there, now my mono's through, and now I can connect my Sabiki to my main line. Now to keep from having to deal with that a lot, what I like to do is always make sure you have enough line out from the tip of the rod, especially when you take the Sabiki off, and then secure it to either your reel or the butt of the rod, somewhere around there, and just make sure that line stays out. If you have your line too short, close to the rod tip, and you don't have anything attached to it, that line's going to want to whip back into the tube, and then you're going to have to go through that process again. So once you get that line through, make it a point to not have to do that again. So keep enough line out when you are storing the rod, and also when you're switching out Sabikis or putting Sabikis on there, you have enough line out so it doesn't go back into the tube of the rod. So hopefully this tip can help you out if you are having some difficulty, feeding your line through your Sabiki rod. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Also, if you have any additional tips you would like to share, definitely let us know as well. Now, if you haven't done so already, definitely be sure to also check out our Salt Strong Insider Club, where we guarantee you'll start catching more saltwater fish in less time. So definitely be sure to check that out. Till next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.